Sounds good, man. All right. So what are we doing? So we're doing. So you have the repo on your local. Now in views you go to. Yeah, that looks okay. Go to plus and go to open from Finder. Click it. Yeah, it's there's something with it. Click it once again. Yeah, and now go to apps. Probably that's when you cloned it, right? Did you clone it inside of the apps? No. Where did you clone that? Okay. So yeah. Oh, interesting. Okay, so let's go to GitHub. Let's see what does it say. So you have a master there. How did you clone that repository? Show in Finder. Okay, so it's here. So now, if you go to column view, this one, let's and go. So it's in Rob Callahan. Okay, so it's in Vacuum data. Oh man, what is this? Oh, because it cloned it into your, because that's probably your user from Bitbucket. All right, well, it's there. Doesn't matter. No, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe better not to. I don't know because maybe this is GitHub some sort of like a way of recognizing that repo. I don't know. It's weird. You can try. But essentially, yeah. So Vacuum. So you had that. Yeah, you had it there. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. So yeah, this one. Open that one and then go to source. So inside of source, click into it, and then go into app. And there's a view blocks. That one. Yeah. And now open that one. Yeah. Okay. Now if you click on that, that repo, it shows this crazy name here. That's cool. Okay, so now you have this. Now you have that. Now you can, if you want to, you can minimize that a little bit. Put it like halfway to the screen, because you probably want to see the like the browser. And I don't know if you can start it from the Git app. Let's. Oh, okay. Well, too late. If you open the GitHub app, see if you can fetch origin. No, so they deal only with They deal only with like versioning. Cool. So if you go now to terminal, if you open terminal. Yeah. Yeah, that one. Yeah. So now if you go to CD and then from Finder you go, so you go CD, capital apps, no space capital apps, I think. Oh, I don't know. Capital A and then P and then press tab. See if there is. No, that's not it. So you need to go probably into your user. Just can you pwd right before, like instead of CD, write pwd. Where are we? So pwd. That's it. Yeah, just return. Okay, so you're here now. If you go ls, that will list all the folders that are in that current directory. So that pwd printed the name of the directory. Now ls prints all the files and folders in that directory. So instead of you going to Finder, you can see it here, right? Now you don't have apps here, so you probably put them where, in documents maybe? I think we've put them in documents before. So if you go cd space and you start writing doc, and then no go doc. Is it in storage? You can ls again to see what's inside of it. If you want to see what's inside of storage. Okay, you have apps there. Okay, yeah, cool. So now cd apps. Now you can ls again, but you're probably gonna have that vacuum name. Yeah, so now you can go cd and start writing vacuum and go tab. Yeah, there you go. Return. Okay, cool. And you probably want to go now cd into what's the ls that. So what's inside? Okay, so that's the app. Okay, it's weird. No, no, yeah, in source, yeah, okay, cool. You could do that, but it's fine. It's fine if you go like just cd dot dot, cd space dot dot, and then yeah, in here you need to run yarn, just yarn, actually, because what you don't have right now is all the dependencies. What you have, like when you got the directory, the repository from Git, what it has all the files that are stored in Git, but the backend files, node files, like dependencies, all of that stuff is not stored in Git. So it's only stored in the package file that only lists them, and then yarn process looks at that package file and says, okay, so what do I need? Okay, I need this, and that's what it's doing right now. It's grabbing all those things. It's installing all that. So just so you know what's going on. So that's doing the install of all the dependencies. Now the only command that you need to know is yarn start, really, and that's. Mhm. Yeah, but that's only initial setup, so that's, you don't have to repeat that anymore, right? That's, now it's set up. Now you have the dependencies. Now from time to time, depending on what sort of new dependencies we're gonna add to the project, you might need to run yarn upgrade, which is looking at the package again and says, oh, wait a minute, but I don't have that one. So, and I see that you don't have, Xcode. I don't know if that's gonna work. Try to run yarn start. Let's see if that's gonna. Well, that works. That should open a new tab, yeah, and it should open the tab with that app, whatever is in the app, which is nothing there yet. So you should go. Yeah, there you go. So that's the app, right? So now, if you go into tools, into views, you can go into blocks, and now you can see that, well, in the app there's only a text, like a basic text, right, that says that. If you change that text and you save it, so you go Command S or you click the save button down on the bottom, you go, that will change there. And now the important thing that for you just to keep in mind is that when you open the terminal, so if you come back to terminal, you will, every single time you see it compiled again. So if you now go and change something in views, change that text again to something else, yeah, and save it, you see that in the terminal it run again and did compile, and it says compile successfully. So if anything, if you made a change and something is not working, or you see like, wait a minute, what's going on, probably you need to restart the app again, because maybe something went wrong there. Restart. Yarn start is to start the app. So now the process of running the app is working right now. If you want to stop that, you go Control C, not Command but Control C. So you can, in terminal, when you're in terminal, you can press, you can press it. Usually it's better to press it a couple of times, because some processes, usually, this is a simple app, it doesn't have backend, it doesn't have data, anything, so it stops immediately, but sometimes it doesn't stop all the processes at once. And then if you want to restart it, you can run yarn start again, or press arrow up. If you run that command before, you can come back to that command in terminal. So you can absolutely. So now if you go to tools, you can we should model now the base state, right? That would be the first thing that we would do. And once we have the base state, then we can start adding blocks to it on different states, right? So what sort of states would we have on the top of the app? So here on the top of the app in the top column, we would have, which is the app view, right? App folder. We would have what? We would have two things that we said, right? We said when we were talking about it, we said that it's gonna have auth, and it's going to have like my account, right? Once after you logged in, right? These two things. So you can add auth here, just return, and then add another one that will be my account, yeah. No, just return here. In this case, just return. So now you see on the bottom, in the bottom left, because of the layout, that's what happens, because these two guys are not inside of the top level vertical. So you can select them, two, and press tab. You can select two of them. Yeah, and press tab, and that will indent them both, right? So now when you save it, they will be inside of the vertical. So now they will be here, right? So now this is the top level container in that view, in app view, and that yeah, you need to be careful. You can undo, yeah. There is you can undo with Command Z if you want to. Yeah, there is a challenge with the undo. I think it doesn't. I don't know if it fully works. Yeah. So now you need to just make a change, any change to code. It's broken at the moment, so that change that to something else, yeah, and save it. You can also do Command C as Command S here if you want to save, just quickly from the keyboard as a keyboard shortcut. So so that's one thing, right? So now we have these two views. Now you can go now, but they show together, right? We would never show authentication and my account together. Correct? Like if you go into account, if you authentication, you logging in, that's your first thing to do, and then you land in my account. So what do we need to do is to go to the settings of the app view and change flow to separate. Yeah, and if you change the flow to separate, now you don't see them. Just remove that text, and I think we're gonna have to probably restart the app. Remove that text because we don't need that text anymore. We won't be using that text, right? So you can just remove the text together with the text block as well, font size and everything. Let's just remove that. We don't need that. We just need the views. So yeah, if you save that, let's see if you're gonna see something. If not, reload maybe the browser. That sometimes helps. Yeah, if you look at the terminal. Okay, that compiled successfully. Yeah, there's something with the files and in the tools. Okay, if you click on the auth, see if that. Oh yeah, okay, you started the app. Okay, let's try that. Yeah. Sometimes when you're adding views, in particular right now, there's some sort of bug there. Yeah, it shows on this for a second and then it disappears. If you reload that page. There is a, I think there is a, if you go to this view, yeah, if you switch on the auth, click on the auth, it should show it. Yeah, now it shows it, yeah. There's some issue with it, I don't know why. There's something there going on. Okay, so if you come back to the, yeah. So now the by default, the first one, if you go to blocks of app view, by default, the first one that will show is the auth, because that's the first in the code, like in the order of the code. If you would go my account first, then when someone would hit the main URL, they would land in my account, not in the auth as the first thing, you know? So yeah, so if you save that, then by default, the first one will be my account, and it also resembles here. So if you go here, the my account will be first, right? Now you can still go to auth. If you click here on auth, the app will switch to auth, or should switch to auth, yeah, okay. So now, and because you have only auth, like the text in auth, right? we'll do that later. We'll move the existing flows that we have designed already. So you see only this one at the time. So now what we can do, we can do the account, right? So you can click on the My Account. We can go inside of My Account. What would we need? We would need a menu, and we would need a content, right? Because we want to have the tabs, the menu on the top. So yeah, so if you want to model that, you can model that here as well. Yeah, yeah, exactly, yeah. You can go menu. Yeah, just save it, and then you can go, I don't know, what should we call it, content? Yeah, something like that, yeah, whatever you think. And now you see My Account, because there's still text that shows you that you are in My Account, right? And then the menu is just the text, there's nothing in the menu. So now what we would need to do is to move all the menus that we have in the other apps. And for that, we're gonna switch to me, and I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna push the changes. So because I have the components, right, on my drive. So if you want to, now let's go to GitHub app, so we can push the changes that you've done, because you made some changes. So now you should see the local changes here. For some reason you don't. If you click on fetch origin again. Yeah, but that would fetch the root. No. You would need to first commit, I guess, but how do you see it? So why doesn't it show any changes? So show changes, yeah. Well, I don't know. You could maybe like right here, adding new stories, adding new views or something. Yeah, and then commit to master. But there's no changes here. I don't know why. Like it doesn't. Oh, because you see, it has it as in master, like as. That's really weird. So if we're gonna do that let's do that in the terminal. Let's see if terminal will let us do that. Yeah. So here you can stop that. Or you can open a new process. You can open a new tab. So you can go Command T as in the browser. You can leave that running. And then yeah, but you don't have the same thing. Okay, no worries. Yeah, I need to install something for you. So when you open a new tab, you open that in the same folder as you were before, so you don't have to navigate. All right, so go back to that one. Stop that process for now. So Control C. And yeah, that's right. And then go Git status. Status. C. Not a Git repository. Oh, okay. Well, okay, because the master is the repository. Okay, so go CD master, CD space master. Okay, go ls. Maybe there's no master repository here. Oh, sorry, because we are in the. Why are we in the? Oh, because you did CD. Okay, yeah, sorry. Okay, so all right, we need to go back to the same repo. So we need to go CD. We need to go CD. Where did you have it? In storage, right? CD storage. Yeah, you can go then CD apps. Yeah, and then go. What was that? Vacuum CD vacuum tab, yeah. And then go CD master. Because I think I remember master. Yeah. So okay. So now you see this. This is the actual Git repo. So now you're gonna have changes here. So go Git status. Your branch stuff. What the fuck? Okay. No. There's something messed up with Git here, I guess. Because you have changes. But there is a folder master there. Maybe because you pulled it, you know what? Maybe because you pulled it from through the GitHub. Yeah, it could be because you pulled it through the GitHub app. But you know what? This is not actually GitHub. You know that this is not a GitHub repository, right? This is a Bitbucket repository. Did I tell you that? Okay, so because we use Bitbucket, we don't use GitHub. So I don't know. Maybe that's what GitHub is messing up right now. GitHub has a different maybe folder structure or something. So what you can do now is to don't. So yeah. So if you go back to the Finder, and in Finder, it will be easier to do it in Finder. Just go to that repository. Go to that Rob Callahan. Yeah. Go to your storage. Yeah. Vacuum. And go to source. Go to and copy the app, the whole app folder. Just copy it outside on the same level as Vacuum. Just drag it outside from that folder into wherever the Vacuum. Yeah, here. Just drag it out. We're gonna replace it later on with the thing. So, and now we can delete the Vacuum folder altogether, and we're gonna clone it again. Yeah. Yeah. So now if you go, so now if no, leave that alone. If you go back to terminal and you go cd space dot, let's get out of that. Let's yeah, well, okay. So cd storage. Yeah, cd apps. And now and now we're gonna do the Git clone from Bitbucket. So if you could come back to Bitbucket and get the Git clone, the whole line. In Bitbucket there was a, if you go back to the UI of the Bitbucket, there's a line there that you can clone with the repository name and all that. This one, yeah, Git clone, Bitbucket data dashboard Git, this one. Just clone the code itself, this code here. Oh yeah, all this, yeah, you have a button to copy this here. And now go back to the terminal and paste that. Yeah, just return. It might ask you for your password. No, okay, that's good. So then you go cd space data and tab. Yeah, return. Okay, and now we are in the master repository. So now what we do, let's come back to the Finder. And now you have this data the dashboard here. So open that one, open source, and drag this app in to replace it with this app. Like that, yeah. That's cool. Yeah, just replace the whole thing. Okay. So now when you go back here though, I don't know what's going to happen with tools, whether they're going to go crazy. No? That's cool. Okay, so if you go and start the app then, so go and yeah, that's what I thought. So because now we've changed the repository, everything is different. That you can shift click that one again, remove it from the, you don't have that anymore, you don't need that anymore. So and then go plus in the tools and navigate to the app again. Something happened to it? Yeah, there you go. That was in your storage. Yeah, in storage and apps. Source, app, and view. Yeah, and click it. That's it. Okay. That's it, and we have it back. So we have all that back, and now when you click on the thing and do git status, there you go. Now we have changes, right? So what does the Git tell you here? The Git tells you have some changes that to existing files that you made, but you also added some new files, and I'm not tracking them. So if you want me to track them, which you do, you need to first add them to Git. You need to tell me to track those files. So you go git add, and it gives you this hint right here. It says git add, and then file name, but you can always add all the files, which I do, because it doesn't matter. So you go git add space dot, yeah, and return, and that will add all of them. So now if you go git status again, now they are all ready to be committed. They red, they green, they ready to be committed. So now you go git commit. No, that they added already. So now you can go git double commit, yeah, and then space dash am, yeah, and double quotes, yeah, and now you write some that message that you wrote there. So adding views, right? Whatever the message, whatever you've done, whatever was the action that you performed, and close the quote and return. Yeah, and now it committed, right? So it if you run git status, now it's going to tell you, yeah, everything is committed. There's no changes. There's one commit though. So if you committed your changes, that's not the end yet. Now you need to go git push here in the terminal, right? That's the last step there. And that git push will push those changes that you committed to the repository, to the remote. And remote is this one, right? Remote is the one in Bitbucket, and your local is the one that you have it on your drive. So now those changes are there. Now let's switch to me. So let me share my screen. So now when I'm gonna go to the project, right, and I'm gonna go git status, I have now changes, right? So there's nothing for me to push, but you've done some changes, so there's something for me to pull. So I'm gonna pull something, and there you go. I see all the changes that you've made right here. And now if I'm gonna go start, now also I get to see your changes, right? So I see whatever you've done there. And now I see the app the way that you saw it, right? So now, and essentially that if, as far as we are not changing the same exact line of code, we will not, at the same time, we will not run into conflicts. So if you're working on my account and I'm working on auth, happy days, right? If you're going to be changing the same things as I do, the same lines of code, then that's when we run into conflicts. So now, inside of the menu, what we want is we want say from DDC we'll take it. Yeah, I think we have it in DDC. So in admin we had a component that was a menu component. So let's see that's an old structure. So let's see, we have a menu. Let's see what we have in the menu. So in the menu we have you see horizontal, we have the logo, we have the text, and then we have the menu view, which we can then probably just go into. Yeah, we can move these guys. So now what we can do, we can just copy these bits, right? And we can, and what I would do, I would go here and I would just, instead of the menu, I would put that thing in. So now we have a horizontal with that block, but we don't have that block. We didn't move that block, that icon. So what we need to do is to move also the specific block. And that's when it becomes a little bit hectic because of the structure. So let's go design system here, SVGs. And I'm gonna move that from, I think we have it in care as well. Let me think, maybe here. Which one has a new structure? This one. So now we have this bird icon. This is just a text. So now if I'm gonna save that, now we have the, right? So that's the bit, that's a part of that menu that we had there. That's not everything, because now in that menu we also need the button tab. So to keep the same component, the same styling, we can use this. We can use the same button tab. What we would need to do is as well move the button tab from that design system into our app here. So, and we have in our design system we have all these components. So I'm just gonna move that one only. We're gonna add that to the menu. We're gonna add it here. .d on one. I'm gonna save it. Now we have the verify here. Now I don't know why I don't have fonts, because I think I need to install fonts, but now we have our verify button here, right? And so this is already a button that will switch something specific. What we need to do now inside of the content, we need to create the 3 tabs that we wanted to do, right? So for that, we're gonna go back to you. Is that okay? So let me now do the same. So I'm gonna go git status. Right now I've added a file, so I'm gonna go git add, git commit, okay. So now let's switch to you. And in the terminal now, you can yeah, no, it sounds good. So in the terminal, you go git pull, now you get to see all the blocks that I've added, right? And that's really it. Now you go yarn start. No, that wouldn't actually work. The git status wouldn't. So the good practice is to do git pull before you start making any changes to the project. You're starting working, you go like, okay, git pull, let's see what other people did. And if you would do git pull right now, because you've pulled all the changes, so if you if you go arrow up as well, you can repeat the commands. It will tell you you're already up to date, everything is fine, you don't need anything. All right, so that means that, okay, no one made any changes, I'm okay, I'm clear to go to make my own changes, right? Without being afraid that maybe I've made some changes to things that you want to change now, which means that when you're gonna commit and try to push your changes, the Git will tell you, wait a minute, but you can't push, you have to pull first the changes that are in remote, that are on the Bitbucket, right? And if you change the same stuff that I did, you're gonna run into conflicts. And we can see the conflicts later, once we run into them. All right, so go yarn start. Oh yeah, okay, well, yeah. Now go yarn, because we just installed that thing, right? So we didn't install all the dependencies and the node, the server, right? We did that in the vacuum old folder. So that's one. And now, since we have the menu, now we can do the content and we can do the switching between the content and the buttons. And probably that's the first thing that we can do, and maybe we can leave it for today. I don't know how you feel about, like, is it too much? Are you good? Cool. All right. So you can go Jan start. And that should reload that page. Correct. Yeah. And now you can see also that, right? You can see that, you have the new menu, right? So now if you go to content, and now what do we need in content? Well, we need these 3 tabs that we defined, right? So what were the tabs? The first one, what do we call it? The first view. Graphs, right? Probably. So well, we are within the dashboard content already, right? So to call it, it's probably best to call it something specific for that specific content. This is the name of the tab, really. So whatever you feel like that tab should be named. What I usually do, I name them based on the content. What is the content of it? Like type of the content, right? So, for example, if these are like graphs, because these would be like the graphs, right? Then there could be graphs. If you would think about it like, okay, this will be. You could also name it like dashboard, like financial. You started typing right? Financial, patient. You can then change it to a different structure if you want. Mm-hmm. You can remove the my account text if you want. The text that says my account, it will not then, because you don't need that either way, right? So it's probably fine. So now you have a menu. The menu is this element, this bit. You don't see the button because it's on the other side behind the thing. Yeah, so there's a button, right? And it says verify because I moved it from the DC, and that tab was named verify in the DC. But you can change that tab if you scroll down on the code. You can change this text. You see here, there's a text on the button. So that says verify. You can change it to say, I don't know, important stats, or I don't know what we would call that tab, that first tab, that graphs, like what would that data be? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you would click on main, and that would switch the main. Right now it doesn't do that. Now it's gonna give you an error because you see this path doesn't exist to verify, right? Because we moved it from the DC. So we need to change that path to that graphs. But the reason why I wanted to go into menu is because in the menu, in the tab itself, you called it main, right? So maybe you want to rename graphs into main, right? So there's a consistency between the naming, although it doesn't have to be, but it's probably the best, right? So it depends. You can either change the on the button, or you can change it the name of the view. Which one would you change? Graphs. Okay. Yeah, you can go graphs. Yeah. And if you save that, now the one thing that you need to do to make the button work, you will need to go to content. You will need to go to content, click on the graphs, on the view, and now you see this button here. That that will copy, if you click it, it will copy the path to that state. Now, if you replace with that path, leave the set, leave the set flow and just replace the path. Okay, now if you save it, now it will not fail because it will always set to that state. Now, that is the only state that you have. You don't have any other state, right? So if you go back to content, we also wanted to add the stats, right? The other view, which was the stats, right? We had graphs, stats, and what else did we have there? List, patients, right? Or something like that, right? So if you say maybe stats, we can always change that later. But if you say stats, then now you have stats, and then if you add another one, say patients or something, so now you have these three. Now you see these three are all together. That's not how it should be, right? So we need to change the flow, it's from together to separate, where you went there, change it to separate. And now you would only see one. Now the problem is that doesn't work because it's broken. So you need to stop the app. You need to stop the app and start it in the terminal, I think. In the other one. This is not the one this one that was open with the GitHub. Yeah, you have iTerm. So if you go Control C and yarn start. Yeah, maybe that should work. And then if you maybe reload this page, it's loading. Yeah, you probably need to reload that. There's something with tools. If you go back to tools and there's this, go back to this graph and just reset it to auth for now and then come back to it, it should probably work. Yeah. So auth is still auth, right? There's nothing in auth. Now if you go here, so now you have, so if you go back to content and remove the content text, because you don't need that, right? You don't need that content text. You can remove the text and the block, everything together. Just leave the views, because that's what we need, right? That's here what we need. So leave that, save that. And you, by the way, you don't actually have to save. If you navigate outside of that view, it will save automatically. So go to something else, and the other thing change that you made is saved already. So now if you're gonna change one of these guys, right? You go to graphs. If you click here on the graphs, this will change to graphs. Now this will change to list of stats. So now you have the state machine working, right? If you go to graphs here, we'll switch to graphs. So what else do we need to do? Well, we probably need to add more buttons here, right? Because we have 3 tabs, we have only 1 button. So you would need to go to menu. That would be inside of menu, right? So you have inside of menu, you have this button. So let's extract that action, because we're actually using a different pattern. If you copy that, just copy that code, just Command X that code. So you have it in your Command X, so Command cat, so cut it, and then save that. Okay, and now in here, inside of the menu, add view that is called that action. So what are the graphs that was, right? So what I do, I go graphs action, and that is specifically tells me when I look at the code, then I see like, oh, that's the action to the graphs. That's not graphs content, right? So now if you go inside of the graphs view, you replace the text with the command V the thing, save this. You can fix that indentation if that bothers you. If not, you don't have to. It's not a big deal. No, you leave them. You leave everything as it is. Just if you want to fix the indentation, you select all these guys, all these 3 guys, and Shift Tab. If you use Shift Tab, it will indent them the other way around. Yeah, but the button should be indented together with the props for the button. Yeah, there you go. So there's a block, and then there are props on the same level. Okay, now you can navigate from that. Go to these blocks. And what else do we need? We need more. Oh yeah. So now if you scroll this down, what happens here? You see that this is not inside of the horizontal. So the horizontal is our menu, right? So you need to indent that once, so it's inside of that container. If you save it, it will come back into the container, it will be here. Okay, so now what we need to do, we need to add other actions. And essentially what we need to do is to, you add, say, now what was the other one? Stats, right? So go add new view, stats action. Yeah. Stats action, right? So that will be another one. Save that, go into the action, replace the text with the, you can paste the same block actually, the same button, because you want the same button. Yeah, and then, yeah, you can keep one level of indentation, yeah. Yeah, cool. And now you want to change the text of it, right? To be, yeah, there you go. What else do we want to change? You want to change this one from graphs to read stats, right? Because you want to point this to stats. So that's done. That's cool. Now when you save that, you should have two buttons, and now you should be able to switch between them already. Right? But oh yeah, but you see the stats, it's outside. So if you go back to the menu blocks, put it in again, save it, there you go. And now if you use those buttons on the menu, they should switch between the yeah, I think moving here it's quite weird. So it's better probably to go X, if you want to move them, you go you select the block and you go Command X and then paste it before if you want to move them around, for example. Okay, so now if you use the buttons on the menu, you should be able to switch between the stats and the graphs. Okay, so now you have your flow. The same you can go now with the list of patients. You can add another action there for the list of patients. It's in the content, right? Mm-hmm. So wait, is that the right place? you are now in the content, right? So you are not in the content, which is the main space. You might think of it like it's the main page. It's not the menu. You are not in the menu, right? So you would, yeah. So mhm. Yeah, exactly. And then that third button. Yeah, it's pasting that in a weird way. And then you probably want to change the graphs to be patients or something, right? As well, this you want to point it to list patients. No, good, yeah. List patients. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, so that's good. All that is fine. Now the problem is that it's outside. So if you go to blocks of the menu, mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Right. So now the one thing is that the style here should be when if it's selected. I think that tab doesn't have it, but if it's selected, it should be already like highlighted, right? That you are there. So this is something that we can work out later. And then everything is right now aligned in the center. So that tab is sort of like in the middle of the screen, right? It should be on the top, really, right? So that's layout. I can fix that. You can leave that to me. But if you wonder where is it, it's in blocks of the app actually, because the whole app has align items center. and justify content center, right? So you just no, it's actually flex start, but you can remove that altogether. The justify content and align items, you can remove that. We don't need that. The whole prop, the whole line. Just the line, not the views, because we need the just the line. Remove that, remove the empty space, and then remove align item center as well. That gives that aligns the blocks inside. So yeah, so you go here. And now the menu is on the top, and then the content starts from the left as it's supposed to. And then we can lay out the content separately, right? So in the content we can then do separate things. For example, if you want to, for now, if you want to, you can go inside of the content and put like a vertical on top. So after separate, put a new line. Yeah, go tab. Yeah, this is always going, yeah, it needs just one tab there. And then vertical, capital letter. And then go next line, go background color, color the capital, color capital, yeah, and then go space, and then go hash, say F2, 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 just to have F2, 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 to have a different color than the rest, and then select all the graphs and stats and all those views, and indent them so they are inside of the vertical, right? Save it, and now you're gonna have a different color inside of the content. Oh yeah, but okay. What we need to do also, come over here to the little icon here. I'll show you a handy thing. So here you have all different common properties that we use in views. So this is your documentation here. So if you want to make a button, these are all the typical props for a button that you would need, right? If you scroll down, there's a text block, what is inside of text block, and now here on the top you have this, over here you have flexbox wrapper. So for the flexbox wrapper, if you copy these 3 lines and paste them into below the background color, yeah, you can click outside as well here. So if you paste them below the background color, yeah, paste it and save it. Yeah, ideally, yeah, but it would work, but ideally, yeah, we would do that. So now you see, now this is if you click into the browser and you look at the right, so the whole background, what happened is that this vertical right now is no longer just constrained to the content of the view, is pushing its all way. It says, okay, I'm gonna flex, grow, and shrink as much as I can. Okay, so now meaning that I'm gonna take as much space as there is available to me. But that's really it. That's pretty much it now. Obviously now we need to create the blocks and. So say again. Mm-hmm. To the content, yeah. And you can see it here as well. So each view would have its own blocks inside. So you can think about it like, content has other views inside, like folders, but it also has some settings or files. You might think about them as files, right? So it's exactly like folder structures, like a Finder, where the views are these the green icons are the folders, and the other ones are just files that have some data on them. Blocks would provide the blocks data. It only applies to these 3 because you see you put a block here that is vertical. So blocks stands for layout, really. That's what the layout is. So you can, and the power of view state machine is in the fact that you can have a state, which is the view, inside of the context of the layout. just that's the only state machine that exists that applies to that type of thinking, which means that you can now position state within the layout of your application, as we did, right? So now you see list of patients, stats and graphs. They would never be inside of this container, right? Inside of the menu. They would never be here because from the layout perspective, it's just not allowed, right? Because menu is a different view. It has its own container. Content is a different view. It has its own views inside and it has its own container inside. So that's why this color will never bleed to this color, to this container, because the container is, one container is here and the other container is there. And the state is also, distributed across different layout containers. So it's a mixture. Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. And you can see that if you want to change this FFF to say remove that with the hash and use red, just word red, you'll see that this, instead of FFF, which stands for white, if you save it, that changed the color, right? Yeah, so that's really it. And you, mm-hmm. They are together. So from the state machine perspective, they will render together. That's what it means. That menu as a container, whatever it's inside of menu. Yeah, mm-hmm. It's equivalent of changing this setting here. Now, what you're gonna do is, like, because you have different, you have well, probably this is the problem with the separate and together, right? So you probably need to reload or restart the. This is what we saw that was what was happening. No, you can leave it if you want, but what I meant is that you probably need to restart the app to see the what would happen. Yeah, and what would happen is that you would have only stats here. Yeah, so you would never ever see graphs and patients because there's no way to get to them, right? Because only one out of these three would render at the time. Hmm. But you see, but content is separate, right? We set it to separate. And if you would change it to, you can change it to together if you want. And then what? This one, yeah, from separate to together, yeah. And what would happen now? Now what would happen is that they all are show. They will show together, right? Now you can click away. You can click away. Nothing changes, right? Yeah, yeah. There's an issue with separate, I think, because you can try to click it. Yeah, maybe switch it there. But I think what you need to do is actually switch it, go to auth, to a view that is, and now go back to the account. Yeah, there's some issue with separate. So now the good thing about it now is that when we're gonna be doing now the insights of the content, right, of the graph, say, that's really that's the whole app. I mean, we need to add the auth, but there, that's your app. What we need to add now are the containers for the graphs, right? So we're probably gonna have, when you go into content and you go into graphs, now we're gonna be adding probably a view for a graph of patients in time, whatever you want, right? and then you're going to have another view, and you can keep adding those graphs, and then we're going to load just the JS component there, the React component there, and that's it. We would need to have it. We would need to have the next step is for us to define it, and probably together with Dario, which ones are the best that we can use, the easiest to implement, the best ones, the ones that he likes as well from the technical perspective. That's right. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, we need to do that. So, yeah, yeah, that's right. hmm Yeah, you can always do the git status. Yeah, loads of reds, right? So no, git add first. Yeah, you need to add files first. So you can think about it. I would like to think about some metaphor actually for that. I think it would be good to have a metaphor about this. But y- yeah, you could. It is as if you would have something on the list or not. So you can think about it like before all the new items that you've added that Git doesn't know about yet, right? You want to add them so Git knows about it. So you want to tell Git, hey Git, I've added some new files. What Git will do, it will add IDs to those, and it will keep tracking the files, right? So you go git add dot. Yeah, yeah. hmm Yeah, could yeah. You could just you can actually copy the path from here as well. Actually, here you can't. This is a command line. Yeah, this actually doesn't have the thing. So if you go if you go paste. Oh, yeah. Maybe it didn't copy what and paste. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Now you've added it. Now if you go git status again, you see the one is green already on the top. So that one's already added. Git will be like, okay, that's fine. So you go git add dot. That's you adding all the new files that you've added. You don't specify which ones specifically you want to add. You just add them all. Right now they all gonna be on the green spot, in the green section, right? Because they are all added. And now you need to go git commit. Yeah. So what did we do? We've added a menu items or something. So space dash am. And like whatever you've done. So menu items. Yeah. There you go. And now you go git push. That's the last one. So git commit is sort of like git save. It's like I'm ready to save it. Because before you do git commit, you can make all the changes that you want, and it's still fine. The git will not know. So now I can push your changes, and I can pull your changes. Sorry, with git pull, and now I can see on my local whatever you've done. Yeah, this makes sense. So there are a couple of things that we need to do. So for example, you can think of like a name for it. You can change the name, right? You know where it is right now, right? You can, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Cool. Yeah, we can look at that now. Yeah, I'll stop recording, and we can